Aye.
Mr. Conwell.
Aye.
Ms. A. Aye. Mr. King.
Staff request certification closed meeting, resolution 21-57.
I move we approve resolution 21-57 as presented.
I second.
It's been moved and second that we approve resolution 21-57. All those in favor of the roll call vote?
Mr. Brown.
Aye.
Mr. Conwell.
Aye.
Ms. A. Aye. Mr. King.
Staff is also requesting approval of the agenda with no added items.
I move we approve the agenda.
I second.
It's been moved and second that we approve the agenda. All those in favor with the roll call vote?
Mr. Brown.
Aye.
Mr. Conwell.
Aye.
Ms. A.
Aye.
Mr. King.
Staff is also requesting approval of the consent agenda. It consists of the minutes of the October 19th meeting, warrants, and resolution 21-60, personnel matters resulting from closed session.
I move that we approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
It's been moved and second that we accept the consent agenda as presented. All those in favor of the roll call vote?
Mr. Brown.
Aye.
Mr. Conwell.
Aye.
Ms. A.
Aye.
Mr. King.
The next item on this evening's agenda is a public hearing that was scheduled for 6 p.m.
Madam Chairman, Dave Stoner of Clearway has been here before, as you know. He is coming for the public hearing. He was delayed. He will be a few minutes late, and if the board would indulge him and hold the public hearing, he should be here, I'd say, within 15 minutes. So if you would, please move to the next agenda item, we'll come back to this.
In that case, we will go to items with appointments. The first item this evening is Mr. Alec Brightman. He's the Executive Director of Crater Planning District. Mr. Brightman has just recently taken over Crater Planning, and he's here early to introduce himself and also make a presentation to board members tonight. Mr. Brightman will come right up here with the microphone, yes, please. And if you need to, pull that microphone down so everyone can hear.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening, Board of Supervisors. It's a pleasure to be here. Come to speak to you tonight. As Mr. Parson said, I'm Alec Bredner. I'm the incoming Executive Director of the Crater Planning District Commission, which is headquartered in Petersburg, Greensville County as a member. I'm very pleased to be here. I have about 20 years of experience with PDCs across 3 states. This will be the 4th, and I'm a long-term believer of regionalism. Matter of belief, see economies as regional in scale, see our transportation networks as means to connect our economies together, where they live, where our schools are. Oftentimes we drive and notice those community boundaries very closely across them. And then finally, our environment, our ecosystem, is a regional entity. It often defines our communities, not only by creating boundaries, but by defining who we are. My pleasure to lead the Crater PDC. We, as you all don't know, have regional economic development programs. We are a regional transportation planning entity for both the urban and rural portions of the Crater PDC. And we also have several environmental planning initiatives, a couple of which are just now kicking off. You're hearing more about that very soon. We're pleased to have Mr. Brown on the commission itself, and we're representing Greensville County. I replace Denny Morris. Some of you might know Denny. Denny's been with the Crater PDC pretty much from the beginning. Denny has been a leader that's well recognized throughout Virginia and has a number of great accomplishments. Those include things like setting up FOLAR, Friends of the Lower Appomattox River, to getting a procurement technical assistance center housed at the PDC office in Petersburg, which assists small businesses in seeking contracts in state and federal governments. So I have big shoes to fill, and I'm aware of that. My goal is to continue the great work that Mr. Morris has accomplished over the last 40, 50 years, and also to find new ways which we can assist local governments. Because the PDC is first and foremost about starting conversations. It's a place for dialogue, a place where we see how we can learn from each other, become stronger by working together as a group, as a communities, as citizens. It's a group of localities in our region. Pleased to present to you, if you would accept tonight, a proclamation. I'll read the proclamation, which was adopted by the commission at its October meeting. It's titled 50 Years of Partnership, that recognizes 50 years of service of the greater PBC to the region. As I mentioned, no small part of which was led by anyone. Whereas the Greater Planning District Commission was formed in May 1970 pursuant to the Virginia Area Development Act with 9 member localities, the cities of Plymouth Heights and Fort Lauderdale and Petersburg, and the counties of Dinwiddie, Greensville, Prince George, Surrey, and Sussex. And whereas the planning district today encompasses 11 localities, having added Chesterfield County in 1985 and Charles City County in 2007. And whereas the commission's purpose, as stated in the charter, is to promote the orderly and efficient development of the physical, social, and economic elements of the planning district by planning and encouraging and insisting governmental subdivisions to plan for the future. And whereas the commission's regional priorities are centered on economic and small business development, transportation, the environment, support for its military installations, providing local technical support to its member localities, and fostering conversation and collaboration. Whereas the Greater Planning District Commission takes great pride in its history of accomplishments while recognizing the importance of looking forward to the challenges of the future. Now therefore be it resolved that the Greater Planning District Commission, this 8th day of October 2020, celebrates the accomplishments and partnerships that have been built over the past 50 years, which have created an enduring foundation that provides opportunities for new achievements and alliances in the future. Signed by myself and Chairman Dr. Martin Bohr, Dinwiddie County. With that, I hope to invite you to participate in another 50 years of prosperity and success of the greater PDC. You all would like, I'm happy to follow up with this beautiful frame signed proclamation that ends with that.
I don't like the board members that are right in front of the stage right here. And
Doesn't matter. It's not. Lovely. Thanks, guys.
Ms. Roanoke,
Yeah, I gotta leave.
thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
On behalf of the county, we want to congratulate you on your appointment, and we look forward to 50 more great years with the Greater Planning District.
Moving on to the next item on this evening's agenda, we have a report from PDOT, and I think Mr. Catlett is here to answer any questions and give you an update. That is you, Mr. Catlett, right?
Yes, ma'am. Good evening, Madam Chair, members of the board, Tom Catlett with the Franklin Presidency. Just went over a couple of updates that were brought up at the last meeting and some other items that were brought up from county staff since the last meeting. We have responded to a couple recent storms, as well as the cleanup associated with those. We graded the ditch on Low Run in 2 locations at the city limit, just outside of the city limits and at the curb. We completed some ditch work on the lower end of Brewerton Drive. We mowed grass on either end and the associated bases on Route 614. We completed ditching at Sales Exchange and Bradford Road. Completed some pipe cleaning on Brantley Moore Turnpike. The ditch on Blanks Lane, Route 656 is on schedule to be completed in the next couple of weeks. We have completed the curb and gutter repair on Jarrett Avenue on the south side. The north side will be completed in the next 2 to 3 weeks. That's all I did to add.
She said, Blake's Lane? What did you do with Blake's Lane?
Ditching on Blanks Lane, we have not done yet, but it is
Oh,
on schedule
okay.
to do.
I think it was 1146 Neil Road, I called in, Neil, I think them I got the Realton Road. Realton Road, right at the end of Realton Road, right, then back to Realton Road, you did anything over there yet?
On the lower end of Rorton Road,
Right.
we took care of that, yes, sir.
Did you think of it?
Yes, sir.
When? I got pictures, and then I got a picture that the person sent me, and it showed them what the picture was.
I was told it was completed, but I will check on it.
Okay, and the next thing I got is right down here is Mr. Brian. We've been working with him since March 2018. I think Jerry told me we did the wrong, whatever we did, we didn't do, cut the right side before we get that corrected. And that didn't, we did, got that on March 2018. We still have that, you take care of it.
Where was the location?
Mr. Brian, the next house right, past the building, one right there on Sussex Drive.
301, just past the guardrail.
Right here.
I'm pretty sure we've taken care of it, but I'll check on it.
Okay, I appreciate it.
Also, I know I've been getting a lot of complaints about the grass being so high throughout the county. So do we know when, we're gonna try to get all of it completed with grass?
Yes, ma'am. Our contract notice just finished, I think it was 2 weeks ago. But the routes that we cut in-house, the beat out staff, we're still on our third mowing cycle. So we'll get to it before the end of the year.
Okay, in some areas, the grass is just as tall as a stop sign for us.
Yes, ma'am.
Also, another area on Lipsy Road, I know I called them a couple of times, but you all will come out every time I call them and put rocks in that area. But for some reason, it's still a gloppy pool of wet tar on that street, and I'm still getting complaints about it as well.
Yes, ma'am. That's where the cars went through and we did with the rocks, and we'll continue to monitor that through the winter.
Okay, because I got another call this week saying it was still tar, and tar is still coming up on vehicles.
Thank you. We'll get everything addressed.
Thank you.
Our next appointment this evening is Liz Linda Edwards, Circuit Court Clerk. Ms. Edwards is here to request funding for the replacement of her carpet in the clerk's office. Ms. Edwards?
Madam Chair, other distinguished board members, staff, good afternoon. First of all, I'd like to thank you all for what you've done in getting the office prepared to open during this COVID. I want to thank you for that. Also, I'm here to request funding to replace the flooring of the lobby area of the clerk's office. You should have a quote, attachment L. We need something more doable, and you should also have a picture. I took a picture of it. Any questions?
I have a question, but I will say this, what I wanted to have is that when I came in back last December, that floor was there so wet because of the rain inside of the building. It was COVID-19. I really thought something else had been done about that because with the garbage that they're going right here, the last thing you need is copy. We don't know what people tracking in, so that definitely you don't need copy. And the copy is very hot, clean, you can clean yourself to death, and that was a show. And I tell people, I took my copy up in my house, I put out my food there. And the copy is tracking up this garbage right there, So I think that, and that copy is not good copy because it's been so wet and soaking. I was standing on one day like I was standing on a pole like a, and that's how the liquid comes in your copy so wet. And I know it's probably soggy, maybe that smells the other way.
Yes.
Yeah, because anytime copy gets like that, it always leaves a smell too.
Had not just been closed since COVID.
We closed,
He alluded to.
I've reopened.
You have reopened
Yes.
completely.
Yes.
To the public.
Yes.
I was looking, to see what it's gonna be replaced with.
It's gonna be, well, I'm asking for a more durable flooring. I think your attachment, it has the transition on strips of the wood, more, laminate.
This carpet, the picture you showed, so put out in squares. I mean, if we look at this replacement in squares, damage?
I think they've done that before. I was told they did that before, and also that it had shampooed numerous of times, and that is the result.
Personally, I would like to see us try to replace these squares and bring this back as a budget item. Good to spend this much money.
Is this covered under care money?
I'm not sure.
I don't think replacement of carpet is an eligible expense, is it, Mr. Cybers?
No, not that I know of, based on the guidelines we received, it would not fall under, caterers.
I would like to see us go with some type of hardwood because it's just gonna be more money down the road to keep on cleaning and replacing squares and replacing squares. When, you have contractors and things that come in there on a regular basis and they can't help, they have oil and dirt on their shoes. That's what they do, that's how they make their living. And I think it would benefit us much more to go with a different type of flooring rather than to have this. And it does look bad. I've been in the office numerous times handling other business. And it does look bad as a county building to go in and the floor does look like that.
It is a hard wood laminate, that's different. So I think that would be a different.
I can have Mr. Cybers look into getting a quote if you like on hardwood.
Would that be in the whole office or just the front entrance?
Just the lobby area, right?
So what is the material right now we're trying to put down?
Excuse me.
So what do we, I think he asked the question, what was the question?
But one is, well, hardwood is different from laminate floor.
Okay, that asked the question, what are we trying to, based on what you said, that's why I asked,
I would just,
what type of material are we trying to put down?
As long as it's doable,
Uh-huh.
it's up to you all, whatever you decide to put down, as long as it's doable. I think something that the maintenance will be able to steam and keep clean. Like Mr. Ashraf has said, we have surveyors coming in all the time right out of the woods with mud and whatever on their shoes or whatever. It's gonna, if you keep the carpet down, it's gonna continue to look like that. And it's gonna be a lot of work for a custodian.
It seems like to me with traffic,
It's a high traffic
They
area.
need to be cleaned about every 30 minutes, but
Yes.
I know,
Yes.
it get clean once a day.
Yeah.
Okay, it should be, you know, okay. I guess I would love to see this taking place, but I'm not, like I said, material, okay, I'm looking at a price, so this price consists of what material?
That includes the floor, to my understanding, with the removal and all.
I can have Mr. Cybers go back over and take a look at it and see if there's some choices that he can bring back to you for those, replacement.
But you, might be this price right here.
Harvey and Mike Velke bought the young lady over, and they had already chosen the products, to put in. So I guess they would know more about what type of material it actually is.
But I had a chance to talk to Mike, we just spoke about it, and definitely, he wanted things about it, he said, we can't do anything, so, you know, and I'm probably price-wise, instead of us going through the whole process, I'm gonna say, I like to make a motion, we approve this, and we, this contract, I put forward.
Is your motion to be open-ended?
Open-ended, right, yeah, so,
If
I
you're
was saying,
cost.
right, but no, what I'm trying to say, this is, we wouldn't go beyond this cost right here. But what we're saying, is this is some material could come back, and we can get it for less, than this, I'd like to have, there's a less, not more, definitely more.
So then what you will authorize is a transfer from fund balance of no more than $3,540 for appropriate floor covering for
Correct.
the lobby.
Or less,
Is that your motion?
Yes.
So you have a second?
I second.
It's been moved and second that we approve a budget item of $3,540.39, no more. We would rather have less, to remove the existing carpet from the office as well as installing flooring. All those in favor with the roll call vote?
Mr. Conwell,
No.
Ms. A. Strong,
Aye.
Mr. King. Aye. Thank you.
The next item on this evening's agenda are citizens' comments. Anyone wishing to speak to the board of supervisors should come forward and please state your name and address. If there is no one who wishes to speak this evening, we'll move on to other matters. Item A is resolution 21-58, the results of the RFP for the long-term financial analysis at the landfill. Mr. Poe.
Good evening. On August the 12th, the county staff issued an RFP searching for an engineering firm to perform a financial evaluation for the landfill's tipping fees and enterprise funds. This is important because in the last few years, we've gone from a permanent 80-ton-a-day landfill to 200 tons per day. So we need to ensure that we have closure and post-closure funds in place to close out the landfill and to monitor. Staff received 3 proposals. We received a proposal from Draper Aiden, Labella, and SCS Engineers. An interview committee consisted of Glenn Gibson, Lynn Parker, Gary Cyphers, and myself reviewed the proposals and chose 2 firms to interview. On October the 14th, the staff interviewed Draper Aiden and Labella. As a result of the RFP process, staff recommends award this contract to Labella. Our staff feels that Labella has the expertise and the proven track record and will serve the county in its best interest. Therefore, staff is requesting you to approve the attached resolution awarding the contract to Labella and authorizing the county administrator to sign the contract. Do you have any questions?
I move that we approve resolution 2158. Second.
And it's been moved and second that we approve resolution 21-58. All those in favor with the roll call vote?
Mr. Brown.
Aye.
Mr. Conwell.
Aye.
Ms. A. Strong.
Aye.
Mr. King. Aye.
Thank you. The next resolution is 21-59. This is in regards to change orders for 301 North Sidewalk project.
This is my favorite kind of change order. We get a credit of $7,303.79. Several items that add up to this credit. If you look at the first paragraph, we had a reduction in the traffic control costs due to removal of concrete barriers and putting the barrels up. We also had to hire Hurt Profit to do inspections that weren't included in the contract. Then we found a 15-inch RCP culvert that was under the highway. It was covered. We didn't know what was there, so we had to extend that culvert and install a head wall. When we milled the pavement out, we had to, well, some of the pavement near the creek started crumbling, so we had more asphalt we had to put back in as a result of the solid cut and removal. And then the contract originally called for a box culvert extension. However, we weren't able to do that because of conflict with the main water line, so we got a $39,000 credit for that item. Therefore, we raised the existing culvert and head wall, and we did and raised the wing wall extensions. So the total of that cost item was an $18,000 credit. We didn't have any line items for project mowing, so we got an added line item of $770 for that. And then at the end of the project, we have quality reconciliation credit for some of the materials that weren't used during the project that were not required. So the total change order gives us a net credit of $7,303.79. Staff is asking the board to approve the attached resolution and authorize the county administrator to sign the change order.
Second.
It's been moved and second that we approve resolution 21-59. All those in favor of the roll call vote?
Mr. Burrell?
Aye.
Mr. Conrad?
Aye.
Ms. Zechariah? Aye. Mr. Carey?
I would like to ask when that will be complete, when will that project be?
The only remaining item I'm aware of is the reseed, and I've been asking for 2 weeks when we get the barrels off the property, lane closure stuff.
That's why I'm asking. I noticed that the contractors are gone, and snow work
Yes.
is done.
And then just one electrical issue with the sign they got fixed, and that's kind of off behind the project. That only 2 items, the electric and the reseed, where they had to come do some touch up. And I've sent emails to them, asking them to get them off as soon as possible, get the barrels up.
Thank you.
We have one other item remaining, before we go back to the Fountain Creek Solar Project issues, and that is the COVID-19 update from Mr. Owens.
Madam Chair and board members, COVID-19 briefing, according to the statistic provided by the Crater Health District, as of Friday, October 29th, Greensville County had 856 confirmed cases reported since March of this year. County also, in that same report, reports that they had a total of 15 deaths from COVID-related illness in the county. Same period of time, City of Emporia had 294 positive cases and 25 deaths. So when you start adding it up, we have 1,150 positive cases of COVID in the area since we started reporting in March, and we've had a total of 40 deaths. And those numbers, there was an article recently in the Independent Messenger about how high our numbers are per capita in the region. Staff continues to provide and distributing PPE to residents. We're using the Department of Social Services, the Virginia Department of Health, through the Commissioner of Revenue and the Treasury Office. And the Commissioner of Revenue Office was selected because this is the window of time that people with limited income and the elderly people are filing for tax exemption. So we felt like that was a good way to get that PPE in the hands of people that were a vulnerable population. Right? We had 2 free COVID-19 tests scheduled for the month of November. We were trying to get 3 in, but because of the holidays and the schedule, we decided to cut back to 2. The first one will be Thursday, November the 5th, this Thursday. And it'll be from 5 o'clock to 6:30, located at the BPI Extension Office parking lot located on Oak Street, which is right next to the old National Guard Armory. The second test is scheduled to be a daytime test, and that'll be on Friday, November the 20th. And that date and location hasn't been confirmed, so if people watch the web page for an update on that, it'd be fine. If you look at the county web page, we have the flyer posted. I put a copy of the flyer in y'all's kit to go over. And you call the number in Petersburg, Virginia, and register, and we can test up to 60 people at those events. Right? And also, November is the start of the winter season. The temperature's getting colder, and according to the experts, COVID-19 the virus thrives well when it's cold and when it's hot. Right? I know we had the holiday season starting. We have Thanksgiving coming up. We have the shopping sprees like Black Friday and those special events. The citizens need to be vigilant in maintaining social distancing. And they also need to be conscious about wearing a mask when out in public and try not to expose yourself any more than you have to during this time. COVID, of course, is proven it's a deadly disease. It's something they don't, when I say they, the CDC and the health community hadn't come up with a vaccine yet that's approved by the Food and Drug Administration. But hopefully there'll be one soon. All right, are there any questions? Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
At this time, we will return to the portion of our agenda, which is the public hearing on the deciding agreement with county solar. Mr.
Yes, ma'am. Under Virginia law, the county and the applicant have a right to negotiate a siting agreement, what the code calls it. Clearway has negotiated with the county. They've been very fair to deal with. We appreciate that. We had advertised a public hearing on a siting agreement, which we thought would be in final form tonight. It is not. It will be by November 16th. What we are asking of you this evening is to please conduct your public hearing on the siting agreement as advertised, and then leave your public hearing open to be continued on November 16th. If there are changes to the siting agreement between now and then, that information will be shared with the public, and they will have an opportunity to speak to you. As a result of the fact that your public hearing will not be concluded, we're also asking that you defer action on approving the siting agreement, obviously. It won't be final until the 16th. And that you defer action on the application for the permit to operate the solar facility. If that is, the siting agreement is a means by which the applicant agrees to provide funds for locality for certain stated purposes. Basically, it's for commitments that you made in your capital improvement plan and also for broadband purposes. And that is identified in the agreement. The version of the agreement that is before the board this evening calls for a payment of $450,000 when the first permit is issued for the site, and an additional $139,080 when work begins. And work beginning is described as any land disturbance activity on the site. So this provides for early payments to the county, which is good. So we think we would ask that you let the public comment on this agreement. We would also ask that you please hold your public hearing open until November 16th.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
I move we go into public hearing. So,
As moved and seconded, we now go into public hearing. All those in favor with roll call vote?
Mr. Brown. Mr. Conrad. Ms. Fishler. Mr. King.
Anyone present wishing to speak can now step to the podium. State your name, your address.
Good evening, Board of Supervisors. Thank you for having me. My name is Belle Blake Patterson. I am an Emporia native and landowner in Greensville County as well. And I reside at 10305 Oakdale Drive, North Chesterfield, 23232. I'm here today to lend support as well with the landowners, the Regional County residents, Dominion Energy, and all other supporters of the solar project at Fountain Creek. It will benefit the county. It will benefit the workforce, our local businesses. It will provide carbon-free energy, renewable, while not disrupting our rural nature. And it will allow an environmentally friendly way for use of the land consistent with the landowners and their supporters' wishes. I thank you for moving this project forward.
Thank you.
Good evening, board members. I'm Dave Stoner with the Fountain Creek Project and Clearway Energy. Good to see you all again this evening. Just very briefly, I wanted to say that Clearway and our partner Dominion in this project are pleased to be proposing this siting agreement with the county. We think it only provides for a stronger project, a better project for the project, a better project for the county. And I know that, without speaking to them, I believe Dominion is in favor of the agreement as well. The agreement, as you may know, comes out of new legislation that was passed earlier this year that enables developers to enter into such siting agreements with counties to provide for additional benefits to counties, solar projects like this. As I think Russell may have already described, in its current form, it provides almost $600,000, I think the number is $589,000 additional revenue to the county upfront, roughly at the time it started construction, in addition to the over $1.1 million of tax revenue that the county would be receiving for the project's life. So again, for those reasons, Clearway supports the siting agreement, obviously, and again, we think it just makes a stronger project, a good project stronger for the county. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Benny Lane. I reside at 3175 Highland Road. Madam Chairman, members of the board. Like I said, I'm happy to be here tonight, getting kind of tired of coming in here. I am here tonight to speak against the siting agreement, which is probably going to be a surprise to no one. And the reason is just pretty simple. This agreement would replace the special use permit process with a mere financial incentive. Solar developers would no longer have to prove that their project is substantially in accord with the comprehensive plan. And utilizing the energy reserve share ordinance would increase the machinery and tools tax exemption from 80 to 100%, although your option would be the 1,400 per kilowatt. By executing this siting agreement prior to final consideration of the SUP application may deny you the right to determine whether or not significant guidelines remain inconsistent with the county's comp plan. There's language on page 3, section 4 and 5A that we believe may bind the board by having to accept their SUP application as is. This siting agreement definitely creates a new awareness. Merely that a special use permit can be bought in Greensville County. To me, that is a legal form of extortion. Now, according to the law firm McGuire Woods, which I believe Russell may have consulted with, Brennan King reported in an article 3 things that caught my attention. One is, he says this type of siting agreement is very rare. The authority of localities to impose special exemption conditions that require cash payments, dedication of land, or other contributions is unprecedented. And under new legislation, there is currently no roadmap for localities and solar developers to move forward. I think this whole process is new. I think we would be better off to sit back, let someone else test the water first. As I said all along about, coming too overloaded with utility scale solar facilities. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Do we have anyone else who would like to speak? If not, we will declare this public meeting open until November 16th at 6 p.m.
The very last item tonight are staff work programs and staffing minutes. They were included in the Friday memo. If you have any questions, staff will be glad to try to answer them. If not, staff recommends you adjourn.
So moved. Second.
It has been moved that we adjourn.
Mr. Brown? Mr. Conwell? Ms. H. Brown? Mr. Kane?
I'd like to make a motion to go into regular session for water and storage.
So moved.
Roll call.
Mr. Brown? Mr. Conwell? Ms. H. Brown? Mr. Kane?
Aye. Certification of closing meeting resolution WS 2110.
I move that we pass resolution WS-2110.
Second.
Roll call.
Mr. Brown? Mr. Conwell? Ms. H. Brown? Mr. Kane?
Aye. A motion for the approval of the agenda.
So moved. Second.
Roll call.
Mr. Brown? Mr. Conwell? Ms. H. Brown? Mr. Kane?
Aye. A motion for the approval of the consent agenda.
So moved. Second.
Roll call.
Mr. Brown? Mr. Conwell? Ms. H. Brown? Mr. Kane?
Aye. There's no public hearings. Items of appointment, we have Mr. Larry Wood tonight.
I think Mr. Gibson is going to present first.
Good evening. There should be a memo in your agenda packet to provide you some background information on Mr. Moody's request. Mr. Moody resides at 34 Moonlight Road and is requesting an exemption to the authority's rules and regulations. He requests your approval to convert his account from an unmetered sewer user to a sewer non-user. The authority's rules and regulations, section 2, item B2, sewer non-user states that should a non-user, for whatever reason, become a regular sewer customer of the authority, a non-user exemption will not be granted thereafter. GCWSA's funding agencies requires that we adopt and enforce a mandatory connection ordinance as a qualification to receive their loans. To become a non-user, a customer must apply and provide proof of a Virginia Department of Health approved septic system during the 90-day notification period. The notification period is established by the Water and Sewer Authority whenever a new water or sewer line becomes available to a resident. So when we extend the water line into a new area, the Water and Sewer Authority sets up a 90-day notification period. Usually during that period, there's a reduced connection fee or the connection fee may even be waived. A non-user request must be approved by the Water and Sewer Authority before it becomes effective. The notification period for Moonlight Road was November 1st, 1994, and extended through January 31st, 1995. Mrs. Moody set up an unmetered sewer account with the Water and Sewer Authority's business office on January 24th, 1995. She paid a $250 connection fee. That was 50% of the regular $500 connection fee. $10 account charge and a $39 deposit. Mr. Moody's been paying as an unmetered sewer user and making regular monthly payments since 1995. Mr. Moody informed the staff that he never connected to the sewer system and requests your approval to convert his account to a sewer non-user. Staff cannot verify that Mr. Moody ever connected to the sewer system because water service is not currently available to his residents, and there's no meter on the sewer service. Mr. Moody is currently being billed as an unmetered sewer user with a monthly charge of $41.35. He requests to be converted to a non-user, which has a monthly charge of $9.97. I think we should turn it over to Mr. Moody now if you don't have any questions for me. Thank you.
Everyone, that's my thing was that at the time this happened, I was working at shipyard. 6, 7 days a week, sometimes 12 hours. I never received a bill that I had the 90 days of bill to connect to the fee or refuse it. I never seen those, I'm not saying 1%, but I never seen them. At the time, I thought I was paying the $250 for an hour use of water. After I found out for the tank that I had, my wife had paid for the sewer. So that's really a quick question that I get it. Non-user fee again. Thank you.
Let me ask you something. We had a conversation, and I know within the conversation, I was in the same boat during the same time when the water sewer was coming through. And I think you mentioned, I know you got sewer, but was water connected to the time?
No, but I don't pay for that's it, for connected to water, 250. Same time I was never working. My wife had, paperwork. So I don't know what happened between then and when we talked about it. Okay.
Now, I personally remember when it came through, but I signed some paperwork, I don't even think about it. If I received the letter in the mail, I don't know anything about it. So I can agree with you, but they told me I could pay $250, and then if I ever decided to hook up, then I could, wouldn't have to pay an additional fee. But I had to research, because I'm not like you, I never received a letter, never signed it, not that I really know of, okay? And I'm looking right now, because I think you was thinking you was paying for water.
Right.
Okay, and at the same time, this is saying sewer. And I think when I called the office, they said they thought you was hooked up to the sewer. And also they said that, they wasn't for sure. So I think the final analysis, you're not hooked up to the sewer at all.
No.
Okay.
As I think I was having that applied to hook up to the water, they said, call about $5,000 hook up the water, and I want to apply. But I paid the $250. Like I said, they gave me the bill that would cost me about $5,000 hook up to the water.
Okay, so you're thinking the $250 was covering
Right.
the water. Okay. And I guess this terminology was brand new to me. It said, I need a suit. You know what I'm saying? So if you can unmute a suit, whatever that is, it's about 4 times more than not being, okay? So that's my position right now. I would love to hear somebody else have a thought on this right here. So that's a lot of money to be paying for you. I mean, you could be hooked up to the sewer and water with qualifications. You're paying to get no service out of it as well.
So it's my understanding, he was never hooked up to the service.
No. I doubt it, because like I said, I don't really ever receive anything telling me during that period of time, because I was, when it came through, pretty much the same period of time right there. And I paid, I paid $250. And then about 3 years later, I decided to look up to the water. But I didn't run into the same problem you ran into. I wasn't told that I was paying, because at the time I was paying $10.88 for non-users.
I think mine started around 21.20, but I ended up starting $1.
And I thought it was $10.88 is what I started out with.
That's just been so long, but I know somewhere that they get one up.
Yeah, and I remember that. I just, I think that the $41.35 for service you're not getting, that's a whole lot.
So what's the recommendation on this plan?
Sorry, sir.
Does the staff have a recommendation on that?
the staff, basically, the recommendation would be that we have a mandatory connection policy. Right, and that, short of digging up there's a cleanup and a tap that was put in Mr. Moody's front yard. Short of digging it up, we don't really have a way to verify that we never connected to the sewer. I mean, I believe Mr. Moody, but without a water meter, with not being serviced, there's not a way for me to go and have him turn on his water and verify that he's not contributing to our sewer system. But that aside, if you do consider this, Mr. Moody would have to have his septic tank approved by the Virginia Department of Health before you really could entertain this request, based on our rules and regulations. The health department has to further certify that the homeowner has a working, operable septic tank that they approve. Now, I think I talked to Mr. Moody about that, and I thought it would be better to see before he spent the money to have it inspected, to verify that, yes, you would consider this request.
I think he needs to have an inspector and bring that back.
So I'm assuming that maybe Mr. Moody will come to this. Did you ever, with Glenn there? Okay, that's something you'd be in agreement with?
Well, if I have to do it that way, I guess I have to.
Okay.
I mean, well, I know I've never had a problem with septic, right, up to now, you know.
Okay, and I think that I'm understanding, but right now, you're saying we definitely cannot prove whether he's using it or not using it with that.
No, sir, not without digging up his front yard, you know, to make sure that there was never a connection. to
There's
the
no
sewer.
line run, you dig it up, you want, I mean, there's no line to run to it.
I would think that what I would like to do, if we were gonna entertain this, is we try to get with Mr. Moody. There is a cleanout in his front yard, have him run some water. If it's not too deep, potentially, we could verify that water is not going into the sewer. That's just a theory. I've never done that to know for sure. But I would prefer not to dig up Mr. Moody's front yard for this.
When you say water is not going into the sewer, well, where would the water be coming from? If he's not hooked up in the water, where would the water be coming from?
He's just gonna run some water to test it, see if it's going to sewer or going to septic.
Yes, sir, that's just a test, sir, to verify that, yes, there's no connection to our sewer system. Because the tap has been in Mr. Moody's front yard since 1994.
No.
Well, your wife paid the,
No tap, we're gonna put in.
not the tap, but the cleanup. So when the contractor goes by, they put a tap in everybody's front yard who is a potential customer.
I'm saying to you, that mine wasn't there. I thought it was water. It's like a tap, I came. It was 5, 6, well, I haven't been long with that. Maybe 10 years ago, I put the tap in. I thought when I asked for the sewer, look for water, that's when you put that tap. I'm not saying this happen, but I don't know, I won't pay that much to
Yeah, when the contractor, when we hire a contractor to go through and put in a new water or sewer line, they put in a tap for the resident. Doesn't mean that they connect to it, but it is there should the resident decide to become a user.
I think we just need to verify that it's either hooked or not hooked, or.
That's what it's my hook. I wait not to run from my house to the street where it is, so I know it's not hooked.
And that's all you need to verify to see if it's hooked or not?
Yes, sir, and, you know, in accordance with our rules and regulations, the health department would need to approve the septic.
I think that's something we probably need to do, to see if it's running in the county or his own septic.
It's his own septic tank. But our rules and regulations says that the health department has to approve the septic tank for you to grant him a non-user status.
So we're looking at two things. You can prove that he's not hooked up to the water, right?
We're gonna try, yes.
Okay, I guess which one do you prefer? I guess,
Well, it's really both steps. Well, we can work with Mr. Moody to make that happen. And then bring something back, if that's what you want to do.
That'd be good.
Ms. Lee, soon you want to resolve this, so I'm sure you have to, hello.
No problem.
I'll give you a call, sir.
Okay.
Okay, we're moving on. There's no old business, no new business, miscellaneous matters. I guess if there's no miscellaneous, no staff work program, no staff meeting, the next thing is adjourn. Motion to adjourn.
So moved. Second.
Roll call.
Mr. Brown,
Aye.
Mr. Conrad,
Aye.
Ms. H. Mr. Kane.
Aye.